Hi, this is Mark with QuicksVenture.com, and in this video we're going to continue our series switching from iOS to Android. In this video we're going to be covering things that went really well, things that you might have wanted in an Apple product but could never get. So let's jump right in. The first feature that I always am impressed by when I switched was the file manager. To an Apple user, this is a very powerful tool. We don't have access to the file system in Apple. You can get some file managers, but they have limited capability. In Android, the entire home or user space is accessible by USB or by the phone itself. And that means that when you plug your phone into your computer, you have access to all of these folders, and then you can manipulate the files in those folders directly from your phone. It makes it very easy to move video or music or really anything else onto or off of your phone. So that's a really big win for Android. It may be a little bit more complicated than the average Apple user is accustomed to, but if for a power user, it makes it very convenient. Another thing that's really cool about Android is that you can select your default browser. So I've installed Firefox on this phone, and if I go to do some searching in the Google app, when I click on the link, Android asks me which browser do I want to use? Do I want to use Chrome or Firefox, and do I want to do it just once or always? So if I select Firefox and select always, then my phone is going to set Firefox as the default browser. In this case, I'll just do it once. And there are times when you're going to want to use a different browser. I'm very pleased with the functionality of Chrome, but I have run into some compatibility issues. I had the same problem on Android, or iOS, where some pages load better in different browsers. So it's nice to have that choice, the freedom of choice. The other thing that is immediately noticed on a big feature phone like this is how crisp and clear the text is. It's very easy to read web pages. In fact, the OnePlus has completely replaced my iPad mini. I no longer feel like I need to use it because I have all the real estate that I need on my phone. And that means I have one device instead of two. And that's a pretty big win. I may miss my iPad mini because it was a great device, but I don't miss carrying two devices. Another thing that is an immediately obvious benefit on Android is this widget area. It's turned on by default and it just shows a clock and weather, but I find that I like the home screen layout on Android phones better because I do want some quick information. I also typically add an entire page with a calendar widget, so I would just have to swipe one direction and I'd see my calendar. I haven't set it up on this phone yet, but doing it is pretty easy. In fact, getting rid of a widget is also easy. We'll just Well, it would be easy if I knew what I was doing, but there we go. Remove a widget, and then we can just add a new one. Say the calendar app. And drop it in. And now I have my calendar in the middle of my page there. And these are things that you just could never do in an Apple device. But Android's been doing it for generations now. Another thing that is pretty nice about Android is that they have finally gotten an iMessage competitor, and that is that you can use Hangouts as your default SMS. In fact, when we turn on SMS, it will merge your existing SMS conversations with your Hangouts on Google, and then you'll have one app that has all the functionality of Hangouts and all the functionality of your SMS. So that's pretty cool. It's basically the same as iMessage, but it's nice to see Google adding that similar functionality. Next, the notification drawer. This is a very cool feature of Android that Apple has actually been copying in their later generation iOS implementations. When you swipe down on any Android phone, you get access to all your notifications, and every application that delivers a notification will stick a line into this notification drawer. And if you don't want to see it, you can just swipe it away. So, it's different from Apple, and we'll cover ways that you might be able to configure the phone to be more like Apple, but the notification drawer is very consistent. All of your notifications stay there until you swipe them away, or they're read or otherwise dealt with inside the application. And you also have access directly to some of these quick buttons here, so you can turn on and off Wi-Fi directly from the notification drawer. You can go right to settings And inside the settings, there's a couple of things here that are pretty unique to Android. One of my favorites is the battery statistics, where you can see which applications have been draining your battery. In an iPhone, you may notice that your battery is draining quickly, but you'll have no idea which application was causing the problem. In Android, it's very easy to tell which apps are using how much power. Now, obviously, on a phone this big, we covered the fact that it's very easy to browse the web, but the same is true for email. When you pull up Gmail, for example, it's very easy to read all of the text inside of your emails and the swiping. There's lots of room. You don't feel like you're using a phone, you feel like you're using a tablet. And in fact, it basically is. You have better resolution than you would on some earlier tablets. And of course, it's perfect for video. 5.5-inch screen on an airplane or a train probably means that you don't have to pull out a bulky laptop or a bulky tablet. So that's a huge bonus. And then obviously with the OnePlus, you're getting 64 gigs of internal storage for $350 in the US. So that's more than enough room. And I found that both SD and HD video look excellent on this phone. Now, you may have just seen me double tap the screen to turn it on. I know that coming from an Apple device, I'm very accustomed to being able to quickly turn on the device by hitting the home button and then swiping. The OnePlus One offers a similar user experience by letting you double tap on the screen and from the lock screen, swiping down. So I found it oddly intuitive, and I didn't like the way that I had to unlock the HTC One and the LG. I really did like on the Samsung devices that there was a home button, but I didn't really like the Samsung devices. The OnePlus is, this is a very simple feature that they've implemented, but for me, coming from an iOS device, it has actually been very, very welcome. And finally, the first impressions, things that have gone very well, the battery is excellent. I find that under extreme usage, and this is watching video and browsing the web, I can drain the battery about 10% per hour. So that would be about 8 to 10 hours of extremely heavy usage before I would need to plug it in. So that's a big improvement over the iPhone. Really any phone I've used. This is a beast when it comes to battery, so that's good to see. All right, if you have any other questions or comments, please leave them on, and we will be addressing comments, and we'll add other things to our videos as we get comments. In our next video, we're going to talk about things that didn't go so well. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.